Warning, this podcast contains bad words and stories about drugs and sex and overthrowing the government. Proceed with caution. Thank you. And now on to our show. Wake up, brother, we got nothing to do. Let's go outside, just me and you, and build a fort. We'll pack a lunch, won't be home till after dark. Then after dinner we can sneak back out. You know that high school girl I've been telling you about? Well, she gets undressed about 8:45, and we can watch her do it from the big old pine next door. She got a room on the second floor. Well, looks like another fucked up day in paradise. Hi, daughter of Godcast, episode 177, animated. This is season 5, climax. As promised or threatened, short episodes coming up like this one. Just a taste, just the tip. Movie version 5. That's Shebox, blah, 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 whatever that thing is, that title of that post. You just go to y.movie and search for V5. Should be one of the first things that comes up. That's V as in Victor, 5 as in the number 5. So we have there lots and lots of images, which could be, you could kind of say that they're storyboards. Yeah, why not? Storyboards. And so my job now is going to be to animate those storyboards to make an animatic, which is taking the different pictures of ideas that we've come up with and kind of stringing them together so they sort of flow into a little bit of a movie. And then we're going to test with small audiences later next week. Cross your fingers, not close your mind, cross your fingers. What are we talking about here? What's this about? Well, this is the current job du jour, du week, du month, whatever, of the project, which is to get a language for the Shebox, the visual language. And so I'm supposed to have started on this week to develop a After Effects kind of animatic. And where have we gotten? Not much. This is where we hit play, and you can see what we have. Play. So it's not much yet. It's just a tiny bit. That's what I'm going to be doing the next 2 or 3 days. Right after I finish posting this podcast, bam, I'm going to be on that After Effects animatic. And Melanie and Joe have upgraded platforms to begin to explore this idea of helping with making some animations. Not so much helping with the animation as more to actually visualize the ideas that they've had as animation, because they've come up with tons of drawings. Again, if you want to see those drawings, those sketches, you go to http://y.movie, WHY.MOVIE, and then go to the search bar there and say V5, and you can find, I forget what it's called, whatever, I should know this. But it's like Buffalo Joe in the Box version 5, something like that. And there you'll find tons and tons of sketches and drawings that Joe and Melanie and I have done. And they've come up with some amazing ideas, and I think it would be really cool if they could begin to be able to play with how those might be animations. And so anyway, so they've got upgraded platforms, upgraded computers to do that, and they've taken my super basic patented After Effects crash course, and so they're going to do some exploration on that while they continue to generate more sketches. And what's the point of all this again? Okay, so the idea is that these images, these sequences of images, this animatic that we're going to create is conveying the Shebox thoughts and emotions. And she draws imagery from all over the place. she grabs it from the entire Daughter of God movie. Props from the two cabins of Christina, the young Christina and the old Christina, props and stuff in Jerry's cabin, miniatures that Greg and Albert have built, and that I'll be adding to any Jerry and Christina live action, maybe a tad bit of Uncle Joe that the box may have seen in the early stages of things. So live action, all the props that are basically in the movie, any sets that we've created, all the relief box ads, you can see those in episode 074, some of the relief box ads that come up. The relief boxes are labeled with whatever kind of relief they're supplying to the survivors, to the refugees, but they also have ads. Of course, everything's got to have an ad, right? Yes. And so you can see those on episode 074. What else does she draw from to create her imagery? Well, she remixes pop culture. She steals images from movies, from iconic consumer products and public and historical figures. She borrows their imagery. She borrows their likenesses, I should say. And then photo props that were already made and that we're actually fabricating. Like I've got a nice Klein bottle, and there's brass shells from various calibers of guns, and clay sculptures and chess pieces and game boards, laser discs, whatever things we can find that might be cool to take pictures of. And also the symbols from various spiritual systems, global spiritual systems, and nature, plants and bugs and human anatomy and maybe fungus, and science, which is sort of like nature, but patterns, mathematical patterns and images from astrophysics and geology. So basically the She Box is capable of drawing imagery to illustrate her thoughts and emotions from pretty much everywhere. And I brought some resources with me. Let me go grab those real quick, just to give you an idea. So these are some of the super cool resources. I've known about this Scott McCloud stuff for a long time, but it's really coming in handy now. Amazing stuff, perfect for this whole She Box animatic sketch thing. And of course, Joe turned us on to some great resources, these crazy wooden books. They're like just little references about all kinds of cool stuff. I'm just opening this at random here. Impossible Objects, which is kind of what the Klein bottle is. The Art of the Book, these crazy illustrations and yin and yang patterns, and just, yeah. So this is a great book. This is called Designa, and this is Sciencia. Sciencia just talks about all kinds of cool science things. There's some quadratic formulas for doing parabolas that describe gravitational attraction and what's that called? Ballistics and rotation and balance, electromagnetic fields. So anyway, great reference works for populating the She Box's imagery. And she is a goddess. She's a goddess. And so she's pretty amazing. She knows all kinds of stuff, and she can pretty much, she understands all kinds of things, so she can put a lot of stuff up there. So there's now in my concept of this movie, there's sort of three, is that good? Let's put that on the table. Let's try that again. All right, let's try that again. Three, okay? Three, there's a three for you. There's three epochs of this movie now, three epochs of the story. And so the setup, first epoch here, that's the setup, I'm calling it now. Again, I'm kind of just figured this out this morning or a couple days ago, whatever. But here it is. So here's number one, the setup. And that's kind of the world and the characters, and the story. Okay, that's sort of the setup. We look at the sort of like a little bit of a something. It's like what would we call it? A snow globe. It's kind of like imagine a snow globe. All right, and that's really what this first epoch is sort of the original short movie, Daughter of God, sort of. but kind of imagine it as sort of a snow globe. And the trope is it's a cozy catastrophe. That's what my brother Jim categorized it as, a cozy catastrophe. It's kind of like D&D in a way, because it's a world. We're building a world, and that world has certain characteristics to it. It has its own kind of logic, and it's kind of like this world a little bit, sort of, but it's its own world. And again, a snow globe is a nice analogy for that. Hang on, just make sure you're still recording. And you are. Okay, good. Okay, so this is what you'd think of. This whole first epoch is kind of like what a traditional movie would look like. Okay. All right. So then epoch, or the second epoch right here too. I'm going to write this right here. This is kind of like where you shake the snow globe, okay? And the snow goes around in the snow globe, and it actually suddenly has some kind of a not life, but it's suddenly you kind of go into the meta of why it is a snow globe. What is a snow globe? It's got this little scene, and you shake it up, and the snow comes down. It comes to life. And so this next epoch is kind of like exposition. It's a movie within the movie. This is where this movie within a movie is kind of working for me. And it's sort of like a making of, let's see, what do we write this down here? This is, let's call this movie within movie. Movie, look at this, within movie. So we'll do this sort of like a little arrow here, an arrow here, okay? Movie within a movie. All right, and I better put a dot there to be consistent. All right, so, what am I saying here? So this movie within a movie in the second epoch is kind of like a documentary about this. It's sort of a making of almost. A making of about of this world, but from the character's point of view, not from the audience's point of view. Does that make any sense? Maybe it's sort of like heroes and the gods dialogue about this world, and so that's one way to sort of think about it. But also, you know, we had a little love story going here. We had a little love story in this thing between Jerry and Christina, right? That's nice, but there's also sort of a little love story here too. Yeah, we have another love story. And that's the love story between the gods and the heroes, the daughter of God, She-Box, and Buffalo Joe sort of have this love story. A little mini love story happens here, right? So we got the white love story and the black love story. It's not really black and white, not really anything. I'm just making that up. Okay, so then the conclusion, this is the third epoch here, right? Epoch the third, and that epoch is the conclusion. It's the ending and begin again. That's what I'm calling this, begin again. And what that is, it's like the snow globe and the documentary about the snow globe, the dialogue between the heroes and the gods, it kind of fuses into one thing. They're brought together in this final epoch. Thesis, antithesis, synthesis, right? What's that is that rhetoric or something? I don't know. But anyway, there you go. So that's what I'm sort of seeing so far. Where this three epoch structure will end up, who can say? You will find out. You're in the middle of it with me. I love that you're here. Thanks for collaborating with your presence and your attention. And yeah, that's it. Episode 177, animated. And that's me, short and sweet this week and every week for a while, straight from the trenches on the slopes of K2, trekking the empty, cave diving, exotic, quixotic, and apropos of nothing, here's that old empire lover, Rudyard Kipling. A little snippet from Rudyard Kipling.
Ship me somewheres east of Suez, where the best is like the worst, where there ain't no 10 commandments and a man can raise a thirst. For the temple bells are calling, and it's there that I would be, by the old Moulmein Pagoda, looking lazy at the sea. On the road to Mandalay, where the old flotilla lay, with our sick beneath the awnings, where we went to Mandalay. On the road to Mandalay, where the flying fishes play, and the dawn comes up like thunder out of China across the bay.
When we went to Mandalay, not where we went to Mandalay. Okay,